Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 51 entitled Intention. So, like usual, we're gonna proceed in 4 steps. The first one, we're gonna define the concept of what is it concretely. Secondly, the reason for being and the fields of application. And then we will finish with third step, some techniques, and then some advice and tips. Well, what is about concretely intention, why it's so important, and why I wanted to focus on it. Concretely, what is it? Seems to be obvious for certain of you. This is intention is to do your best. Okay, concretely is the fact to do your best for yourself and also for other people. Secondly, this is also the fact to express yourself towards people to indicate what's your will, your desire through your action. So it allows to facilitate the communication. This will be a kind of anticipation for the next key, which will be around and regarding empathy and non-violent communication. Well, the third and then the fourth, dimension of this kind of definition, which is not really a definition, but just to define what it implies thereby, but it's maybe not exhaustive. The third one is the fact that everything in life, in general, is, stimulated through an intention. Okay. Whatever the enterprise, whatever the approach, there is necessarily for everything a intention, which is concretely an equivalence and a synonym would be a will. Okay, willingness, a will. Okay, whatever this is an association, whatever it is an enterprise, a company, a project, a friendship, a couple, and so on and so forth, it should be, and it is, aroused and animated through a will. Okay, and you can see the proof is that if a couple, she wants and he doesn't, and or vice versa, of course, it doesn't work, or at least for a short period of time, or by interest and so on. But it's not balanced couple. Okay, so it seems to be obvious, but it's a good fresh reminder. Everything, I insist, in life is animated through a will, okay, a intention, okay, and even for nature and beyond of that, we could, depending if you are a believer or not, whatever the tag you have, if you have a religion or spiritual, whatever, this is this will, and by the way, the metaphor of God is the creator, right? So this is the principle. But if you observe, okay, regarding the scientist point of view, botany, astrology, astronomy, sorry, or biology and so on. But astronomy, yes, astronomy, sorry. If you observe the universe and so on, you can see regarding the forces, this is physics, so science, okay, this is factual, there is necessarily a kind of organization, and the proof through that is even the etymology of cosmos, or cosmos, universe, okay, the cosmos in Greek, ancient Greek, means literally the order. Order means there is adjustments. This is, an order is never at random, all right? So, and the more you study biology, cosmos, whatever, and the more you see the orchestration and the fact this is difficult to have a random, a kind of coincidence. Okay. By the way, even for cosmos, this is notion of good dosing, the good balance between the forces. Okay, there are 4 forces. Okay, nuclear and so on, gravity and so on. But if it would not have been so well balanced. Okay, too much we would have been burned. If not enough, we would have been frozen, and so on. So life would not have been possible on Earth, for example. And the contingency, the probability of that is just amazing. Is 10 power 60. Okay, you imagine the number of trillions of trillions of trillions of trillions, and so on. Okay, and so on. Okay, just to visualize is like trying to shoot, is a metaphor, to shoot a kind of 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter target from a distance of 16 billions of light years. Okay, so the coincidence is quite lucky, and or is, well, anyway, you will have understood. Okay, so this is this phenomenon under the fact that even nature has this tendency to express a kind of intention to progress, to organize, to spread. Okay, and this is really the point. By the way, I will quote one of the most interesting scientists, Max Planck. Okay, Max Planck, who is one of the fathers of quantum physics. Okay, so he had the Prime Nobel of physics in 1918. Okay, and he declared the following: all matters come from a force and exist only through it. We must assume the existence under this force of a conscious and intelligent spirit. This spirit is the matrix of all matter. So I do agree. It didn't say it's 100% sure. We must assume it's a contingency in a certain extent. Yes, it is. We must assume the existence under this force of a conscious and intelligent spirit. What does it mean? It means that, according to this point of view, one of the greatest scientists, okay, of the modern times, think there is a kind of will, a kind of intention, intelligence, and conscious intelligence, will, okay, intention. So this is quite concerning and very interesting thing. Okay, so if we go further, the fourth element I wanted to mention in this kind of definition is not exhaustive, of course, is the fact that intention corresponds to a co-creative process, an approach, co-creative process. Co-creative, why co? Because it's aligned with the kind of great old divine process. Okay, so basically, more down to earth in quantum art is the fact by giving your intention is linked to the notion of crediting, giving credits, okay, energetically and emotionally to something or someone or an action. Okay, this is the principle of egregor. Okay, egregor, what is it? A thoughts form for which you give a credits against or in favor is the same. Okay, positive, negative. Okay, what does it mean? It means that if you believe a lot in this, I don't know, some theories, some fears of chaotic apocalypse and so on, you created it. Okay, you co-create it. Okay, so it means that probably that you give more loads, you give more energy, effectively, energetically, to this potential contingency. Okay, referring to the key 15 space-time and also 16 present time and also 18 consciousness. Okay, so I invite you to take a look. But just to make it short, it means that literally our way of vibrating activates or credit. When I say credit, what does it mean? It means that you give, okay, through your energy of thoughts and emotions, you credit energetically some ideas. It's really exactly like if your thoughts were kind of, drops, okay, drops, little drops with a condensation, and then they evaporates to reach a clouds. And the cloud is the collective unconscious unthinking or collective unconsciousness. Okay, and once it is quite reaching a certain density with other people and so on, it has an impact on the matter. Okay, it means that the density is materialized through, for example, snow and rain. This is a metaphor just to explain the fact that what we are thinking, vibrating, is taking part. Our intention of thinking and so on has an impact in our co-creation and realization. That's why I said previously, but the Buddha said the following: what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract it. What you imagine, you create it. Okay, so keep this in mind, it's very important. Let's go further. What's the reason for being of this intention, concretely? This is simple, is to feel accomplished. Okay, we will see auto-complacency or self-accomplishments is one of the top of the Maslow pyramid, the fifth most important need, let's say, for which it's quite rare to reach it, but this is one of the most important elements. The second one is to be at peace, okay, to be peaceful, to be at peace, without regrets, without bad feeling of guilty or frustration in general. Third is to facilitate, to make more fluid the communication in general. So it's a kind of a tool to make the communication better and smoother. Fourth is to participate, of course, to the endless inner process of awakening. Well, let's try to see 20 techniques and tips, for which I will start with a little bit of literature, but not only. It's also some philosophy for you, also to let's say to approach it progressively. 3 pillars which are very important. The first one is intention is to do your best. Basically, okay, we do agree. To do your best for yourself and for other people, okay. This is concretely the principle of the bestseller that maybe you know from Miguel Angel, who is in English the 4 agreements, okay, Toltec Wisdom Collection. Okay, there is a 4th one recently, which is discernment and lucidity, and it's quite recent. It has something like a little bit more than 1 year, meaning that it just adapt to this the current society with lots of fake news and so on and so forth. So the discernment is really important at this period of time. With lots of news, we are overwhelmed with emotion, overwhelmed with lots of non-qualitative information. And it's difficult to select and to sort out and to have a, let's say, objective point of view. Okay, referring to the key 46. Okay, which is discernment, by the way. Okay, so this is important, this point, not because the 4 agreements say it is a part of it, but if they consider this is one of the 4 pillars of the wisdom, okay, apparently it's for a good reason. Okay, that's why I spend a bit of time on it. Secondly, second pillar, as we say in English, is the thoughts that counts. Okay, this is extremely important, and we will see with different manners. Okay, with different topics. Maybe you know Coubertin in French, because he's French, is the father of Olympic Games. I mean, the modern Olympic Games. The first one was in 19 previous century, 1990. 00. It was in London, if my memory is correct, in Paris. And as the motto of the Olympic Games in French are "L'important c'est de participer," means it's important thing to participate. Okay, the meaning thereby is to be detached from this notion of performance, to reach necessarily a record and so on. Okay, so this is important point, and we will see, because in our society, modern society, focusing exclusively on the results, result-oriented comparison, and so on, we will see later. But the performance, according to that, regarding the sport, is the notion of, let's say, the categories. If you analyze in all sports, there is categories regarding the age, regarding the, let's say, the gender, regarding the weights for boxing, for instance, regarding the age, and so on and so forth. Okay, so of course we separate the male and female, which is kind of obvious. Okay, if there is boxing, you cannot imagine that a teenager, 14 years old, girl would 50 kilos, for example, would box with giants, 2 meters, 120 kilos. It could kill her. And the same as well, even if a woman, 40 years old, very, muscles, let's say 120 kilos, very high, like 2 meters, it would not be fair to compete with a teenager, even if he's a boy, 50 kilos, 40 years old, it would not be fair. So it is the notion of performance regarding sport is systematically according to the categories. Why? Because we value the proportion of the investments. Okay, that's important. That's why there are categories. That's why there are Paralympics. Okay, handicapped people. Since their childhood, when they were born like this, or because of an accident and so on. And we admire their capacity to bounce on the human condition. That's the point. Recently there was a world record, kind of new records. It was Russian, it was 2 or 3 months ago. A Russian guy ascended the Everest, okay, the mountain in Himalaya. Okay, great, congratulations. But you could think, but a lot of people, thousands of people, my stepmother did it. So, of course, it's not a prouesse, a new record, because other people. But he did it by walking on the hands. Why? Because he had no legs. Okay, so he did it like this. So imagine how it is, let's say, remarkable. That's the point. Remarkable. Recently, a few 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw it was a French guy. He did the same kind of record like this, crossing a sea. Okay, other people did, but the only difference is that he had no arms and no legs, and he did it, and he was crying, saying, I thought we were gonna die, and so on. So, and I was really touched, because I said to myself, oh my goodness, I could even not do it with my legs and my hands. So imagine how noble this enterprise, this process is. So this is according to your investment, your the proportion of your capacity with the result. That's the point. Okay, so we say whatever you believe or not, kind of legend for certain of you, is not the problem, is not the thing. We say in most of esoteric currents that God, whatever the name, God never charges more than our capacities. And if we go further, we say that normally there is a cooptation with a kind of contract of souls. And before being incarnated, we choose our hardships to learn, basically. Okay? That's the point. So it's never exceeded, okay, what we can in our capacity. I know it's maybe difficult for certain of you to accept, but it's a kind of principle that most of esoteric currents say. Well, another point regarding that, by extension, is the fact for video games. Sometimes you play and there is levels like easy or medium and then hard. Okay, you do video games, it's football, and you are a world champion, and you win, 10-0 versus Brazil, Argentina, and so on. Okay, fine. Or France. Yeah, okay, but it's easy level. Okay, then normally you would like maybe to say, okay, I can challenge myself and to reach a medium level, and then maybe you only win 5-0 or 4-0 versus Germany, I don't know, because it's harder, so you feel more proud of your results. You see, proud is the self-complacency, that's the notion of self-realization. And later maybe you will reach the hardest level, So this is the notion of, do you feel fulfilled if you win without any challenge? That's the point. And this is the notion of we say in French to be this is easy to conquer without if we conquer without let's say risk, we triumph without glory. Okay, you understand the point? If we challenge without any risk, we will not have any glory. That's the point. Okay, so that's the notion of intention. Okay, but depending also of your desire, and we will define later on. Two different remarks for you, and to step by step to evolve in this concept. It's the famous, probably, I don't know, in States, in Canada, and so on, but in Europe we have this in the kindergarten and even primary school. Most of the kids, for Father's Day, Mother's Day, and so on, they do like arts and crafts or workshop, and they prepare a gift for mommy and daddy and so on. And most of the time we could say that it doesn't look like anything, like let's say modern art and so on, like a pasta necklace and so on. We can say objectively is not really following the criteria of beauty and so on, artists and so on, but for you, it's just the most beautiful necklace of your life, probably. Why? Because the kid, your kid, not whatever the kid, your kid did it for you, regarding the best intention to bring his love or her love and so on to you. And that's what is focusing on intention. That's the most important thing. Let's do further. Go further. I have a kind of compassion. We are talking about unconditional love, compassion in Buddhism, in many philosophies and spirituality and so on. But at the end of the day, very often, practical, I told you, for me, is practicing the real faith, the real theory into practice. Practice makes perfect, as they say in English. So I have compassion for politics in general. Okay, politics, some people will think, not all of them are like this. Okay, we are in an dangerous era to visualize everything with duality, the good and the bad, the warm and the cold, and so on. No, yin, yang, middle way. There is positive things in every action. There is positive things in every single human being. Okay, that's important. So let's come back to the point. I have compassion for politics, for governments, for presidents, and so whatever the country, even if I don't know them. Why? Because it's an investment. Whatever we like, we don't like, whatever the left or right wing and so on, whatever, you like them, you don't like them, but being objective, they try their best. The intention is probably power for certain of them, cupidity for other of them. Yeah, it's possible. It can be partial. It can be this a bit, and can be also just because the intention is to bring positive thing for folk, for people, for the country, and so on and so forth. Okay, so but I just focus on my concern, my country, France. Currently, most of people, a majority, maybe 20%, 80%, 75% are against the current presidents. Okay, currently I'm in Turkey. It's almost the same. And if I see in Canada, Trudeau and so on is almost the same. Okay, and why? Because people identify the system and our global situation to a single man. But he didn't do the laws before, he didn't do the history. Okay, and I'm not in favor or against, it's not the point. I'm not giving my opinion. It's just the fact that most of people are unsatisfied of the current president. But in France, so the current one is Macron. Before it was Hollande. People was exactly the same. Maybe 35% were in favor at this period of the duration of 5 years. Before it was Sarkozy, it was the same. Before it was Chirac, it was the same. And always like this. Always like this. Okay? And what is funny is, recently, so Chirac died, and there was a survey saying who was the best presidents. And people say De Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle, okay? The savior of Second World War and so on for certain. It's not the point. It's just, but the people have a short memory, like Martin Luther King said. The US people has a memory of 4 days. I think it's for all humanity, to be frank with you, because in '69, De Gaulle at the referendum, and French people they voted for kick him out, okay, to say goodbye, leave, okay, and he say about French people they are like cows. So now we deify. We most of people, because they forgot what I tried to tell you. He tried his best. They tried their best. Most of them, okay? And this is the most important thing. I am a CEO of 2 companies, but one of them in China for almost 10 years now, okay? I've been, and I'm still CEO. Is difficult, okay? We can never do unanimity. What does it mean? It means that everybody happy, okay? Everybody agree. It's extremely difficult. And when you have a certain level of position, you have a different perspective. You have a different vision. I'm not saying they have the knowledge and they know everything. It's not the point. It's just that we can see. I saw in my career in the past when I was a junior buyer, and then I evolved and so on. And then, I took the seat of my boss and so on. And when I arrived at this level, I said to myself, okay, it's not so easy. It was easy to criticize, but to act is different. In French, we say criticism is easy. Art is difficult. What does it mean? It's easy to protest or to say I disagree or this is not good, this is bad, and so on. But concretely to propose solution and to act and to handle is different thing. This is very important to keep in mind, and especially in this Uberization of the society. Uberization in like dislike, like, and so on. The fact that it's so easy, but what are our investments? What are our, let's say, collaboration to make the better world and so on? That's very important because we also have the choice to create our movement, to create our, personally, I don't want to touch about politics, but this is, I hope you understand, this is not so easy. Most of people have a good intention to make properly. Nobody say, I want to be at this position because I want to destroy the system or to destroy the company or to destroy. This is rare, or can be some perverse people, but it's very rare. Okay, so what I try to tell you, and probably by bouncing with another example, is like education. Education. This is my mother who said to me this sentence when I was a teenager, and it was really beautiful. And even at this time, I could understand. And it was the following: when the children are young, they adulate, their parents. Then, as teenagers, they judge them. Sometimes, when they become adults and have their own kids, they understand them and they forgive them. Okay, so this is important. What does it mean? It means this is easy to judge. Without the maturity of things, most of the parents, I'm saying most because, yeah, it's the majority. When you have a kid, usually you want is everything positive for the kid, except some perverse people, but it's a minority, so no need to mention it. But most of the parents, they do the best. They don't do perfect, but nobody's perfect. Perfection is not from this world. Is kind of divine if we believe in it. Okay, so we are humbly and modestly, okay, human, simply human. So that's really important to keep this in mind because it's make the world more peaceful. We're gonna see. Okay, let's develop with 20 different techniques and tips. Okay, very important is first your intention as you need to define your intention clearly with objectives, like forecast results. Okay, it's coaching approach, it's business approach, whatever. Yeah, it's the kind, when you have a project, is that you have objective. Why? Because it's obvious. Seneca, the great Greek philosopher, say there is no favorable wind for the sailor who doesn't know where to go. Okay. What the points just is like I told you already. It's like kicking in the ball and you play soccer, football, and you don't know to score in the cage. What's the points then? Okay, most of people don't have any objectives. So how to be happy? How to reach them if you don't know? This is really important. And the etymology of sin means to make bad things. Apparently, in Aramaic, which is the language of the period of Jesus Christ, it means to miss your target. Okay, to miss your target. And beyond of that, it is further than this. It means that you are against the currents of life. Sometimes we are rushing at something. We want to impose things. For example, and we hear commonly when we hear, for example, she's the woman of my life, and you want to demonstrate and so on. But, the kids, when they play puzzle games, sometimes they force and they break it, but it doesn't match. It's not the same. The good match is not fitting. You see, and that's the point of the notion of sin. It means this. It means that we are against reaction force of the normal process of life, And when I say to you, it's happened to me still. Sometimes I want to rush at something and so on, and I don't know why there is some obstacles, and I say, why? What the fuck? And so on, like everybody. And then later on, I understand, that it was better to wait a little bit, So that's the point of, but what is really important to define your objectives. I told you already to define the reason for being, okay? In strategy, professor, teacher for strategy for MBA students and so on, in business, for entrepreneurship, for different types of business. But in strategy, the first pillar is the reason for being. Okay, the reason for being, raison d'être, that we can use, so the French word, means that. It means why you launch this project, why you launch this, this product and so on. The reason for being is systematically, whatever the structure, this is the official methodology, whatever the product and wherever in the world, okay? Then this is mission statement and so on. But just the reason for being. That's why in the past, in the previous things, the previous keys, I said to you, this is important to define your reason for being for yourself. Okay, why are you on this earth? Okay, what do you bring? Okay, this is really important. Okay, so the objectives to define clearly and so on. Then secondly, which is different, to all depends on your objective. That's to say the qualitative dimension and quantitative dimension of your objective. What do I mean thereby? To define objective is the first steps, very important. Secondly, everything depends on your objective. Means If your objective is just to have enough to eat and just to have an easy life, okay, you have more chance to reach your objectives. Okay, so everything depends on your own perception and objectives. That's why most of the time we say happiness is not necessarily to get all what you want, but to be satisfied with what you have. This is different perspective. Okay, so I do, for example, business games with my students systematically each semester. And what is it concretely? Is a simulation for which I embody 6 characters, okay, 1 client, 3 factories, and 2 suppliers, forwarders, okay, for shipping. And they deal with me. They are in group, like a company, and so on. And it's a teamwork, okay, there are different groups, and they communicate with emails and so on. And some people believe it's true. I mean, that they are talking to real characters. I mean, real. Anyway. And you know how I judge concretely, because I need to give a rate, a grade, a mark for the administration. I try to visualize the coherence. If it's, let's say, the consistency, concretely, that the objective and the results. Is it matching or not? Okay. Secondly, is the capacity to explain me why they choose that and that and that and what was the strategy and so on. I judge that. It means that sometimes maybe someone has in the absolute less good, in quote mark, results. Let's say the result, the money generated is less important, but it was what they reached what they wanted, and they just say, oh, we took less risk because we want to take it easy and so on. Fair enough. I prefer that instead of, it's a metaphor of life, and I say to them like this: it's a metaphor of life. If you come, and I told you already, if you come to my life, because for me I have one of the most beautiful life, okay, but you can please come, and you will see. Some of you would say, is that the incredible life? Yeah, because I have not been always like this in my life, because my perception changed, because I let's say reprogram myself and so on. Okay, and I do things as well in the action for make it to turn my life into a dream, and this dream into reality. There is an action beyond and a perception as well, state of mind and discipline. You see, so that's really important. This notion of that's why I'm always told you I do a lot of things that I consider as good and nothing excellent. Okay, it's my philosophy. It's not good or bad. It's like this. Okay, that's it. So up to you. If you prefer to have less and you are perfectionist and you prefer to do less things but more qualitative and better, fair enough. If you feel better like this, do it like this. Okay? Question: there is no miracle recipe. There is only miracle adaptation. Keep this in mind. It's like I'm writing books. Okay? On my website, you have 5 of them in English. Okay? So they are free. Okay? Free access. So you can download them for free. Okay? And there are 16 in all. Imagine the time invested. So initially they are in French. Okay? So I love my books. They are my babies. They're beautiful. Don't never say to someone, oh, your baby is ugly. It's the same for a project. It's come from my heart. And what's my intention thereby? Is to put, okay, some let's say some philosophies, theses, ideas from people, from mine, and so on, in situation with a Roman and so on. I have different types of, and the goal is really to help people to understand, to awaken, and so on and so forth. What's my interest to do that? I earn zero, nothing, not a single penny, nothing at all. For why? For what I'm doing it. Keep this in mind. My intention is just to help people to awaken, and to help people to be more, to appreciate, to spend good time and so on, to reveal themselves and so on. And when I have testimonies as a feedback like this, I feel very good like this. Okay, so the same for this, and it's funny because some people say to me, yeah, but actually it's not valuable because it's for free. Yeah, I know. I study marketing in 1980. Sorry, in 98. Okay, so a long time ago, and now I teach it. Okay, so I know a little bit that indeed people are putting more value, but it's for me something I regret because I'm sorry, but it's not because you have a free cakes they are disgusting, free hugs and so on is disgusting. You see, so and also because this is an invitation of a new vision, a new paradigm, of probably a word without not necessarily a financial exchange. You see, this is deeper than this. This is like vibrating and acting like the new paradigm, like a new era. That's the point. Okay, I respect those who let's say who sell their book. That's why sometimes I laugh. I'm saying they will be never a bestseller. It could be a best giver, but you understand my point. Okay, this is important, and even by doing that, I try to open up myself and my heart by giving my intention. Same for this let's say this channel. Okay, I've been pushed during 3 years to make it. I didn't once initially. I was ashamed. I was afraid. I was not prepared for some critical dimension and so on. I was afraid, to be frank. Huh? And honestly, and then after I matured the idea and so on, and I accepted it. So step by step, piecemeal, I said to myself, okay, why not doing podcasts without my face? And then people say, yeah, but it's more entertaining and so on and so forth. Okay, fine. But for example, the form is not excellent. Okay, I have not a team. I don't have anybody to help me, just a friend of mine doing the montage and so on, some sounds as well. But that's it. Okay, it requires me a lot of time, a lot of investment. For what? When I see the number of views in English, I say, okay, I stop, even in French. But sometimes I say to myself, for what? For who? Nobody's care. So this is really can be frustrating. And I can improve and I can have a very short duration and so on, more synthetic, but it is already very synthetic because I know that the new tendency is, the new trend is a cap of a couple of minutes and so on because people don't have attention span, so you need to change. I'm not here for that. You understand? So indeed, we could improve, but I don't want. Okay? So that's my real intention through this channel. I launched it after the gloominess, the darkness. I could see everybody was not in harmony and so on. And I just wanted to help people for, let's say, to be more harmonious, to be to gain time for them to, because this is the fruits of accumulation of a lot of experience, knowledge, and so on, by books, by real life as well. Okay, so I try to facilitate, to help people to be more happy, to be more peaceful, to, let's say, to also to have a certain discernment, lucidity. This is also for helping to awaken, okay, in a general way, because a lot of people are missing some existential things and so on. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, and also fourth is an invitation, a subtle invitation to say, I did it. You can do it, not necessarily a channel, but all what I try to tell you, to testify, is not to show off. I have no interest to do that. It's just to say, for people feeling, okay, let's believe in it. Let's try to do on our own scale, at our own humble scope and so on. Let's be the change that you want to see in the world. We discuss about that. Okay, let's continue. Third is to have a diagnosis regarding your intention. Okay, what's the competencies that you have and what are the skills required for reaching your intention? Okay, that's the point. Okay, to accomplish. Okay, do you need some trainees, some studies, and so on and so forth? That's the point. Fourth is your investments. Okay, intention requires investment. What does it mean? Time, repetition, duration, let's say commitment, energy towards it, and third, to love, to like what you do. Okay, I don't know any prime Nobel were threatened to be killed to discover things. They were motivated naturally because they were doing their passion. That's the point. Okay, then be, let's say, free up from the judgments and the fear of failure for yourself first. Okay, this is what we saw already. This is the principle of resilience. Resilience, the principle is to have some corrective actions. There is no failures as long as we take some corrective actions and we try to improve, and we see as an experience of life and as a hardship just to improve ourselves. Okay, that's the point. Please keep in mind, this is really important. You fall down 20 times before being able to walk properly. Why? You fall down and then you wake up. You fall down, you wake up to find your balance. So there is no shame of failing and so on. That's the point. Very important. Keep this in mind. Second, sixth one is be detached from the fear of failure with the observation of other people. Okay, the judgments in general, criticizes. Okay, that's the point. Once again, we say in French, criticizing is easy, acting is difficult. Keep this in mind. So it's definitely easier not to make any mistake when we don't do anything, when we don't handle anything. That's the point. That's very important to keep this in mind. Be transparent. Seventh, transparent. The transparency in your intention. That's what we will see in the next key with empathy and non-violence communication, is exactly what I did before. I told you, it's always practical. It's an invitation to do the same. Open up your heart. It's like open book. I say before, sometimes, regularly, I doubt, not about what I do. I have self-analysis, of course, I can improve myself and so on, but sometimes I say, what the fuck? Why I do that much? Why I invest so much for people they don't care? Of course. So I adapt about that. But I just plant some seeds, and it will blossom, or it would blossom, or not, later or not. But I would have done what I have to do. That's the point. And I open up my let's say, my heart by doing that. And doing that, I invite you to do the same with people in general. Express yourself. Express your intention. It's, let's say, facilitate the communication. I never say in my channel, thumb up and so on, or subscribe to my channel. Why? Because it's obvious you want to do it. You are not kids. I don't want to infantilize people. People are responsible. Okay, so if they want to do, they do. Okay, if they want to spread these videos to other people, their friends, to support me and so on, it doesn't make sense, and it's kind of obvious. No need to say and to express it. Okay, word to a wise. Okay, so but express your intention as I just did before, and you feel better, honestly. Then intention predominates. Okay, as we said in English, it's the thoughts that counts. So keep this in mind. This is the law of universe. The law of universe, let's say, transform your intention, positive or negative. That's why Hitler or all dictator and so on, they could do that because they were determined. Okay, they were determined. They had a determination, and they were sure about themselves. They were sure about the intention. That's the point. Intention, tension, is linked. Intention and tension is still The notion of attention, tension is very similar in terms of sound, logos, okay, in Greek, means the energy that you are putting in your thoughts and even with your mouth. Sorry, at the beginning was the verb in the Genesis. Is this the frequency? If you want to know the mystery of the universe, think into in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration. This is Nikola Tesla. Okay, if you say that, is to resume everything. Okay, a verb, a mouth, a talk, a thoughts is an intention, and its vibration is energy. So, concretely, this is the principle of co-creation and law of attraction. This is what I say with, I told you with Buddha, what you think you are creating, what you feel you attract, and so on. That's the point. Okay, this is really because we give a credit, positive, negative, to something, an action, a destiny according to our vibration. Keep this in mind, is really important. The notion of 9 is the notion of, the activation of a process of intention. What is it? I give you an example: a rite, a ritual, and or when you go, on a tomb to respect the memory of your ancestors and so on. Okay, you can think about them. Yeah, it's working as well, if you believe in it, of course. But the fact to go on a tomb and to take your car and to bring some flowers and so on, it's activating your intention in the materiality, in the density of the vibration. Okay, that's why, when, for instance, you go for a journey and you come back and you give a souvenir, what is it? You say, and it can be nothing. Like if I go to Paris and I bring back to the kids in the orphanage and I just offer them Eiffel Tower and it's just costing, I don't know, €1 is nothing, right? But they would think, he thoughts about me. Okay, so it's not materialistic at all. It's just the proof that you thoughts about them. So in the process, in the approach, in the enterprise of doing, you are activating something stronger in the materialization of your intention. The intention regarding the key 36 is, because we are doing some cross, everything is entangled, interconnected. So this is a fresh reminder that it's the notion of co-creation, visualization. What is it? To make the two into one. That's in the Bible, in Neville Goddard. A lot of esoteric currents say the same. Concretely, to make the two one, what is it? Is to visualize, okay, in your thoughts, so to think about something, to feel it, and then to perceive it as present. Okay, that's the point. Okay, so that's concretely a kind of, this is the force of the positive thinking. Okay, it's co-creation purely and simply. 11 is giving an intention before, for example, a meal or a conference or a prayer or a meditation. Okay, sometimes we do. Okay, I would like to let's say to offer this meditation to poor kids for the war and so on. This kind of thing, And why it's so important? Because in lots of rites and so on, a lot of people they do, okay, like Ramadan, like whatever, Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur or Diwali and so on, and they don't know exactly. They don't remember why they are doing. So they are doing like automates. So there is no substance, there is no essence, there is no energy. It's dull, it's empty. This is my point. Be precise with your intention. Okay, when you say, for example, I want, okay, you have a lot of chances to be, let's say, satisfied of just the fact to want. Okay, I want, okay, but you will continue to want, just want, not reaching. Okay, I want to find job. Okay, you check tomorrow online announcement, you find jobs. You didn't get a job. You have not been precise enough. You want a job? Okay, when? Time, qualitative, good job, 2 hours from your home, bad atmosphere, not interesting, badly paid, and so on. Be precise. That's the point. Okay, then the form and the contents are very important, but the content prevails. What does it mean? I give you a little legend. It's from Moses. Okay, so this is a legend saying that one day meets an old man and uneducated, and was praying God, and Moses just say, but what are you doing? You're not praying properly, and so on. So the old man asked, because he's really a believer, he said, okay, teach me. I've never been taught about how to pray, and so on. So he teach and so on. And then he had the revelation from God saying to Moses, but why you did that? I really like the way he was praying, because he was praying with his whole heart, and you all pray in the same way. So it was original, it was touching, because he gave all his heart. And I think it's a beautiful symbol, okay? Whatever, even here, the intention, okay? I hope that you can do abstraction about my mistakes, sometimes in English is my mother tongue, my accent, and so on. If not, sorry about that, but you understand, you don't, let's say, appreciate me as I am, okay? And I try my best. My intention is just to help people in general. That's very important. Then try to free yourself about exclusively seeking a performance. We are in a society of result oriented all the time, and so on, performance and so on and so forth. But try to, you want to play football tomorrow. Do you want to be Ronaldo or Messi and so on, Mbappe? It's just amateur. You will never win any World Cup and so on. Is it a problem? When you play tennis with someone, with a friend of you, you want to fight because he won and you didn't. You just enjoy. Okay, oh, you did it well, and so on. That's it. So that's the point, to try to free yourself about this notion of performance, and this bulimia of sensation, performance, and also comparison. I say already, but it has been proved. There is survey recently. 1/3 of the population in the world are frustrated because of the social networks, the social media, because they are comparing, Instagram and so on, blah blah. Okay, they compare their life with other people. They are so happy and so on. But most of the time, this is completely fake. Okay, we don't know. It's just pretending most of the time. Okay, pretenders. That's it. Okay, so keep this in mind. Very important, as in the Bible and in general. In the Bible, it say, "Go away, your faith saved you." Why is so important? Because it's not Jesus, it's not divine, it's the person, okay, who is saved, who is healed, is healing himself because of the belief of Jesus, God, and also himself, capacity. Okay, so it's a triptych, very important one. Okay, what I mean thereby is the notion of somatization. Somatization in Latin, placebo, it means I heal. Okay, nocebo, I'm destroy myself. Okay, in Latin. Okay, so I believe I'm positive and so on, I'm healthy, I am healthy. Okay, I think the contrary, I'm creating my own sickness. Okay, and I lived it. Okay, my father, his best friend, was condemned. It was the doctors said to him, "Go home, sir," and so on. You only have 2 months to live. And he said, "No way, impossible." Everything was finished. He had a cancer. And he said, no way. He was very optimistic and so on, positive and so on. He lived more than 10 years. You see, so it's not a legend. There is a name for that. It is a scientist who proved it. It is what we call epigenetics, somatization epigenetics, Bruce Lipton. Okay? A scientist is not a new age crazy guy. Is a scientist, a doctor. Okay? So concretely, epigenetics, what is it? Your thoughts impact your DNA. You can modify your DNA according to your state of mind, and thereby your whole metabolism can be affected through that, positively, negatively. Keep this in mind. So then, to express your intention in practice, you want to be a writer, right? You are a writer, an author. It's good, it's bad, it's a question of judgments. You want to be a manager or entrepreneur, do it. Okay, play the role of it. Play the role, it's kind of conditioning, okay? It's sending good waves of realization, that's the point. Then, the notion by extension of action, I told you many times, be the change that you want to see in the world, is from Gandhi. It's very important. Be the change that you want to see in the world, is to demonstrate the materialization of your determination and your intention. You know, that's why I'm sharing with you education, orphanage, community, new type of school and so on. To show up? No, not at all. Just because I don't believe in the notion we are waiting, burning candles, praying and so on, and then the new era is coming. Is arriving from galactic, from no. It's all the philosophy, all esoteric currents conveying the fact that everything is coming from yourself. Okay, know thyself and you will know the secret of God and the universe. Okay, what does it mean? You need to do the job. Okay, the first role is to avoid to deresponsabilize. Deresponsabilize means that you put the responsibility, you outsource. Okay, so you are waiting for Messiah, whatever. But the thing is, the new era, the new paradigm, okay, is step by step because of, or thanks to, our actions. Action, okay? And that's why the more people are doing things, because otherwise discussing video theories and so you can gather a lot of knowledge, but as you know, practice makes perfect. Okay, is vain. Is absolutely vain if you only have theory. So that's the point, to make things within the matter, within the reality. Then in the evening of your life is like, to feel like to have a busy day and to feel fulfilled. Fulfilled is really beautiful word. Fulfilled. You are filled. Okay? You are satisfied. You didn't do everything perfectly, but at least you did your best. And when it's like this, you don't have any frustration, you don't have any regrets, and you can sleep or pass away in peace. That's the point. RIP, okay? RIP, R-I-P, RIP. What does it mean? Rest in peace. But do we want to rest in peace? Live in peace. And for that, show your intention and do the maximum you can do, and you will live in peace. That's the real point. Regarding death, okay? Regarding the most of esoteric currents, I know some people don't believe in that. It's not a big deal. It's just I'm sharing, gathering some information. The last judgments is not exactly as we think. Okay, there is a kind of retake exam. What does it mean? It means that we are here, down to earth, on the matter, to experience life, to learn, and to express the living in a certain extent. So, do we feel at the end, because it's kind of contract with the souls and so on. So, when we pass away, the notion is that we just analyze if we feel fulfilled or not, if we feel satisfied or not. Okay, otherwise we have, I told you, a retake exam as long as we learn properly. If you want to be interpret and you are cheating always for in your studies, so you have a diploma, but your knowledge are zero. You are not good at English or whatever the language you learn, and you have a good responsibility, a good job of translator for UN, for example, United Nations. But the problem is that you are not capable to translate. Okay, so if you really want to do that, okay, you cheated. So if you really want to do that, you will be obliged by your own to decide to take some, let's say, to retake the exam. But before that, to relearn or to study, basically. Okay, it's the same principle. We come back, we reincarnate until we consider we are satisfied. But the soul has a big picture. It's not your ego. It's not your identity. It's not your envelopes judging that. Okay, so that's why it's a co-creation, but it's a co-judgments. Okay, a co-analysis, a diagnosis, basically. Keep this in mind. Last but not least is, of course, is a blink of eye of the next key, which is empathy and non-violent communication. Very, very important point is to see or to try to decipher, to see the intention of people. Why? Because, some people are a little bit clumsy, awkward, and so on. And it's true for everything. I'm boss, CEO, I have employees. Sometimes, okay, if I analyze the efficiency and so on, people are proposing some ideas and so on, some inputs. I never frustrate them, even if I consider it's not so important. Why? Because I don't want to kill their motivation. I don't want to destroy their artistic dimension and so on and so forth. So try to see the intention between the acts and the intention. Okay? Yes, sometimes the acts can be a little bit, awkward and so on. It's not a big deal. If she prepared to you, couple, a beauty, or he spent time with love and so on. He prepared a dish and it's too burnt or it's disgusting. Don't say. Okay, just admire the beauty of the investment and the intention thereby. Beyond. Okay, that's one of the key of empathy. One of the key of the fluidity of communication and thereby a more peaceful world. Because it's really rare that people just want to do bad things. Okay, most of the time the intention are more positive. Okay, so keep this in mind. Well, this is only one key to helping you to shape your own master key to open up the door that you want of consciousness of your heart. And always keep this in mind that all the roads lead to Rome and to home and to the dawn. Keep this in mind. A word to the wise. Bye-bye.